Hey ladies, another day of beauty boot camp. Can't talk. Say that 10 times. Today we're going to talk about eyeshadow and kind of how to do a quick everyday kind of thing to get you going out the door. The most important step that you can start with is some primer. So you want to have a good palette to lay down the colors that you're going to put on today. You want to make sure that they're adhering and sticking. So you want some on here to make sure that it has something to stick to, but you don't want too much. So it kind of gives it that tacky feeling, something for your eyeshadow to adhere to and kind of make everything lay down and stay the pigment of the color to last a little bit longer. So I am using today the Younique Moodstruck Eye Primer. It comes in this really small tube. You just need a tiny, tiny bit. I literally just put a pea size, less than a pea size, like a sesame seed piece on my finger, and then kind of go from there. My eyebrows are doing some really funky things today, so it looks like I'm shot. Sorry about that. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this Splurge. It's a cream eyeshadow, and the color is called Bittersweet. It's amazing. I really, really like. So the color looks really pink, but for my skin tone, I have some pink undertones, so it actually kind of complements it really well. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm putting it in the corners. We're just gonna kind of blend up and kind of give it a base for my entire eye. So it actually really brightens up my eyes, as you can tell the difference. Kind of gives them an awake, looks well rested. Kind of makes it look like I have brightness in my face, and it kind of brings out some of the contouring as well. The highlighting sections kind of just brightens up your eyes. So I like to kind of bring it all the way down into the corner of the eye. Just kind of makes it a little brighter. Okay, so now that I have that on, it just kind of gives it a all over even pink undertone to my eyes. I have really brown eyes. They're really, really dark to the point that they're almost black. So brown eyes are kind of an iffy thing. You can wear a lot of browns, a lot of greens. Purples look really good on brown eyes. Today I'm actually just gonna go with an everyday is brown palette number 1 in the addiction section. So I'm gonna pick some colors that are on here and just kind of play around and go from there. So the first color that I'm gonna do, I already have this matte, like even tone color that's down. So I wanna pick something that's a little more kind of sparkly to bring out some of it today. So I'm gonna use this brassy color, actually like this third one over. It's got kind of a shimmer kind of look to it. And then I have a really fluffy eyeshadow like brush. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this mirror. I'm gonna kind of look down sort of chin level. And I'm just gonna use a sweeping motion and kind of go back and forth over top of the splurge color that I actually already used. So this is gonna bring out some colors in the eye. The closer that you hold your brush to the top, the more stiff and more pigment you're gonna put on. The lower sweeping motion actually gives you some freedom, and it makes more of a light wisping across the eyes. It doesn't really make sense, but you kind of have more control over where the color is going, and it actually makes it a little bit lighter. So depending on what you're putting on and where you're putting it, you're gonna hold the brush in different areas just to give you the achieved density, the achieved angle, like everything else that you need. Okay, so that color is called Brassy. It's actually this third one over. And then on the inside of the eye, I'm actually gonna go back over and I'm gonna lay down some of this Elated, which is a really matte, like light color here. I'm actually gonna put it in the corners of my eye. I'm using the, helps if I let you see it, 2 angled brush I'm actually just going to use the sponge, which nobody uses anymore, but so I'm going to put it kind of in the corner. It's going to brighten the eye, kind of give it like my base of where I'm going to blend into. So now I still have this like lighter color. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here and right here, which was the brassy color that I used. It's kind of showing in the middle and between the corners and where this section is. So out here on the outer eyelid, I'm not going to go any farther than where this line kind of naturally lies, but I'm going to put some darker color and pigment along the bottom of these lashes and along the top here. So I'm going to use this end section. I have a lot more control with this brush, and I'm able to kind of get where I want it to be. So I'm going to use this middle color. It's not terribly dark. It's called Chipper right here. I'm going to tap off the brush just so I don't have too much. I'm going to hold the angle of the brush kind of like this, and I'm going to go along the corners. So with this, I'm able to kind of go into the crease as much over as I want to, and I'm later going to blend that in. So I'm just going to let it kind of chill out right here, and then I'm going to go out to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. This color is a really nice color. It's kind of darker, kind of brings out the undertones of your eye. Okay, so then I'm going to take a blending brush. It's a little bit, so this is a little more stiff. I'm just going to kind of blend it in, kind of smudge sort of the color and over as far as I want. Bring it all together. So now I'm going to hold it out a little bit further just so I get a little more of a sweeping section. It's kind of blended up. You can take your beauty blender and actually go over these edges here with some foundation if you ever go too far, or if it's farther over than what you want it to be. For some reason I have difficulty with this eye. I don't know why. Okay, now I'm going to go back over with the splurge. I'm just going to tap some back into this corner section again. Again, it just kind of brightens up the eyes and helps blend in those other colors that I have. You can kind of play around with it and get as much as like you want or as dramatic as you want. Just depends on what you're going for. Eyes are kind of one of those cool things. You can do as little or as much as you want to them. Okay, so now at the top of my eye, I'm going to bring in kind of some lighter side along my eyebrow just to emphasize and highlight. Make sure your eyes look longer and higher. You can use a whiter color if you want to. Kind of makes it stand out a little bit more. Eyes have kind of always been like the one thing people remember about me. I have really big, really big eyeballs. Kind of makes them stand out. Okay, so this is one of the whites I was just talking about. You kind of put it along the top of your eye, like underneath your eyebrow. It works as like a highlighter. Make sure your eyes like look longer, kind of stand out. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I prefer a liquid pencil for eyeshadow. It's my preferred. I think it's because it's what I'm comfortable with and I've always used for a really long time. So I'm just going to start in the corner. I don't know if you guys can see this. Start in the corner and I'm going to work out. I'm going to get as close to the eyelashes as you possibly can. This helps if you are going to be applying fake eyelashes, which I don't wear. They're too much work. They feel awkward. Plus, I feel like there's something like poking in my eye the entire time. But it hides the eyelashes if that's what you're doing. I use a combination of both Epic and the 3D mascara just because my eyelashes are not very thick and I want to kind of bring them out as much as I possibly can. So with the combination of the two, the Epic gives me a really good base, and then it elongates my eyelashes, and then the 3D gives me the fullness that I need to kind of build from there. So I'm just doing a really basic eyeliner like along the top. I always do kind of a little bit of a winged. It's not big. You can clearly bring this out farther and even make it wider and go in the eye as dramatic as you want to be. So for the everyday, this is kind of where I would be. If I wanted to make them look more extreme, I would make it wider and bring it out a little further. And so you're just going to bring the corner. You're actually going to expand it. This may help. A little bit better of an angle. You're going to go from the middle, and I'm going to make it wider as I'm going out. So this is going to make the wing more thick and more dramatic. So depending on how much you want, you can build or go down. So I love eyeliner. It's my favorite thing. I've worn it forever. Really don't leave home that much without it. But it kind of gives you like as much dramatic effect as you want or as little. Another tip you can do to make your eyelashes look fuller if you don't have my awesome mascara is you can actually apply some pencil eyeshadow or eyeliner underneath your eyelashes here, and it kind of gives them illusion that they're fuller than they are. Just a tidbit. So I'm going to use the Epic mascara, and I'm actually just going to coat my eyelashes first. Kind of give them a baseline. Careful not to do what I just did and get the mascara on your beautiful eyeshadow that you just did. Okay, so if I wanted to rock just this color, I don't know if you guys can tell, I definitely could, but I like to build from there. So I also use the 3D fiber. This is just the fibers. I'm going to take these and I'm going to build on top of the Epic that I already have down. It adheres to it and it kind of just makes it thicker, fuller. And then the beauty of this, just like the eyeliner, is I can make it as dramatic or mediocre as I want. There's not really anything mediocre about this, if you can already tell from this eye to this eye, but it kind of gives you that idea. Like, I could make these touch my eyebrows if I wanted to. So I'm just around the house today, and that's a little much. Okay, so now I'm putting the Epic over top of it, kind of as like a sealant to hold the fibers in place where I want them to be. As you can tell, it's already a dramatic difference. I don't really have a lot of eyelashes on the bottom, so I'm just putting a little bit of the Epic on the bottom just to kind of make it look like I have something going on down there. As you guys can see, there's a huge difference between this eye and this eye. I don't know if you can tell. It's really hard when you're doing a video to get the angles to where people can see them. Let's try. Don't know if you can tell. Okay, now that I got all up in your face. So we're gonna do that same thing on the other side. And just kind of touch them out and make them laying down the base. My eyelashes on this side suck. I don't know why, but they're like nowhere near as thick. I am soon going to start using the lash serum, which will actually make them a lot longer and maybe more manageable then. I'm a very uneven girl, so my eyebrow on this side is better than this side, but my eyelashes on this side is better than this one. I guess God was trying to balance me out. I don't know. Nobody's perfect though, right? Okay. So then I'm just gonna put some of this Epic over top of it. Then I'm going to take it on the bottom. I'm a little blind, so I'm sorry if I'm blocking some of the angles where you guys can see what's going on, but I'm slightly blind. Comes with age, right? And then I'm just going to take a kind of a cream, and then this is a unique eyeliner brush, and I'm just going to kind of go over the edges and make it a little more dramatic and kind of fill in the area to make my eyes pop. So depending on what mood you're in, you can take this as far in as you want to and kind of line the whole eye. Again, it depends on the shape of your eye. Sometimes if you do that, it's going to close off your eye and it's not going to look as big or as full. You may be trying to do that. I don't know. Just depends on your eye and kind of what shape you're working with. I have really large round eyes, so I don't really have to worry about that. Like, the idea for me is going to be to kind of line them and make them stand out. Mine are really big and really full and really kind of circular, so I don't really have to worry about making them closed off or small. If your eyes are kind of more the shape is more like slanted or smaller, you're not going to want to use eyeliner as far over. Sorry guys. You're not going to use your eyeliner as far over because it's going to totally make your eyes look more closed off, small and squinty, and that's the opposite of what you want to do. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach me. Bye.